Access to medical records. Objectives. Understand the terms related to access to medical records. Understand how to access medical records. Terms. Designated representative means any individual or organization to whom an employee gives written authorization to exercise a right of access. For the purposes of access to employee exposure records and analysis using exposure or medical records, a recognized or certified collective bargaining agent shall be treated automatically as a designated representative without regard to written employee authorization. Employee means a current employee, a former employee, or an employee being assigned or transferred to work where there will be exposure to toxic substances or harmful physical agents. In the case of a deceased or legally incapacitated employee, the employee's legal representative may directly exercise all the employee's rights. Employee exposure record means a record containing any of the following kinds of information: industrial hygiene monitoring, biological monitoring, safety data sheets, medical questionnaires and histories, examination and test results, physician's written opinion, physician diagnoses, notes and recommendations, description of treatments and prescriptions, first aid records, employee medical reports. Access to medical records process. The company shall permit employees, their designated representatives, and OSHA direct access to employer-maintained exposure and medical records. This includes those employees who have been, including former employees, or will be exposed to toxic substances or harmful physical agents. The company shall preserve and maintain accurate medical exposure records for each employee. Exposure records and data analysis based on them are to be kept for 30 years. Medical records are to be kept for at least the duration of employment plus 30 years. Access to medical records process continued. Background data for exposure records such as laboratory reports and worksheets shall be maintained as needed, but at least for 1 year. First aid records of one-time treatment are not retained for any specified period. Records will be provided at reasonable times, a reasonable place, and in a reasonable manner. A request for records must be in writing and sent to the corporate office. Quiz. A designated representative is someone to whom an employee is given authorization, a right of access. A, true. B, false. 2. One type of employee exposure record is employee medical reports. A, true. B, false. 3. Employees, designated representatives, and OSHA have access to exposure and medical records. A, true. B, false. 4. Medical records are kept for at least the duration of employment plus 10 years. A, true. B, false. 5. Requests for records must be in writing and sent to the corporate office. A, true. B, false.